I remember this one case, bone cancer patient, like waiting to go. One day I got this question came up. I said, is there anyone you are yet to forgive? Anyone who you hold a grudge? And he said, my brother.
Most important, he's left the body after having settled that karmic account. Had he not done that, he would have carried that grudge, that resentment. Keep your intentions right. Me forgiving someone doesn't depend on what they have done. It depends just on my thought. I forgive, I release, I let go. Finished.
Today, 99% of our breast cancer patients, ovarian, any reproductive, hormonally driven cancer, they come and say, Lou, I know exactly why I have my cancer. And it's a deeply rooted emotion. It is a genuine problem that people struggle with.
First, why should I forgive? So what happened was not in my control at that time, but now looking back, at least I can change my response now. So at that time, I created a thought which said, I can never forgive them for what they did. So it's a very deep programming that goes on inside. So what do I have to do? I have to change my instruction.
Sister, you know, we had several cases like that. I remember this one case, bone cancer patient, like waiting to go. I remember even the doctor saying, why doesn't God take this patient away? Because you could even touch the patient and he was in incredible pain. So I was looking at this case, and one day I got this question came up. Like I said, I'm a huge believer of what you say. A lot of what I say and do, it's not me. I know it's not me. I know what my abilities are. And I just asked this question. I said, is there anyone you are yet to forgive? Anyone who you hold a grudge? And he said, my brother.
Yes.
And the family call, I said, see, there's just only one thing you need to do. I don't know what's going to happen out of this. Call the brother, make your peace. The brother came 2 days later. He was in Gujarat. The patient was in Bombay at Jaslok Hospital.
Right.
They spent time, they cried. An hour later, he passed away. An hour later. I remember that happening, and I mean, I like to lead by example. I'll give you the case of my own dad. My dad expired about 5 months ago. Okay, so he had a very mild cancer, which was probably old age, but he was being treated. He was going through his own suffering. There was no treatment at home. And across us were his sisters. There was some family property fight that had gone on for years and years. So they were not on talking terms. I can't use words like hatred, hostility. It was just like common property issues, not talking. One day my mom calls me up. I think I was in New York, and she's saying, Dad has just walked out of the house and he's gone across to his sister's place, which he hasn't done for years. They were not talking. They were not on talking terms. And he went across, so my mom, sent my brother, went across, and he just went there and sat. His sisters apparently, this is how my brother related it to me, they didn't know what to do because they were surprised, but they welcomed him. They probably knew that he was sick. I mean, it's a village. They spoke. He started going more often. And my mom was like, how do I handle this? Like, just let it be. Let it be. And I'm telling you, after that, he lived. But the suffering all stopped. He lived. He died peacefully in his sleep, which I believe is a nice way of going. But all that suffering before that he had, whether it was mental and I don't want to leave you all behind, who'll look after you, all of those things, it all disappeared. I think his last few months were the most beautiful. And the only thing that comes to my mind was he closed that cycle. He closed that cycle.
Most important is not just suffering then. Now, if he had not done this. Okay. So one is when he resolved all that. So he released the resentment. So one is I can release the resentment which is within me, but if I go there and I start talking, I'm also helping them to release the resentment. So it's not me creating that energy anymore, and it's also not me receiving that energy anymore, because the other side will also resolve it. So when he's done that, life became comfortable, no suffering. Most important, he's left the body after having settled that karmic account. Now, had he not done that, had he not done that, he would have carried that grudge, that resentment. The soul behind, whom we call sister now, would have also had that grudge and that resentment. This soul would move forward, enter the womb of a mother, a new life will start. This soul will also someday leave the body, go somewhere else. One day they both will meet again. And when they will meet again, it would have not been a very beautiful relationship. And then we say, why is there so much problem in this relationship? Because I did not resolve it last time. I did not. Now, whenever they will meet again, it'll be beautiful. So it's very important. But we don't know when we'll leave this body. So we should always keep everything
clean,
very clean, very clean. Even if you're not getting the same thing from the other side, doesn't matter. Keep your karmas right. Keep your intentions right. Me forgiving someone doesn't depend on what they have done. It depends just on my thought. I forgive, I release, I let go. Finished. They could have done the worst that anybody can think of. There was a sister who came to the center. She was abused when she was 5 years old. She blamed her parents for it, like a little child thinking the parents didn't take care. So not a very good relationship with parents in her mind. Not trusting people, didn't want to get married, just wanted to be alone. The world is not a nice place. You know, that whole thing that soul had carried right from the age of 5. And then when she came to the meditation center, she was about 30, 35, something like that. And one day she just came out of the meditation room and she said, what did that person do to me? That person only abused my body. That too when? 30 years back. And who's abused me for 30 years? I. I have abused myself for 30 years. He only abused my body. Today I release him from my mind. That's what it is. We're not saying what that person did is right. It's just saying, what am I doing with myself?
So our response to everything.
So what that person did to me is part of my karmic account. What I do to myself now is part of my present karma. So always focus on the present karma. That my present karma should always be right. Then my past karmic account won't affect me so much. Even simple thing like someone has 100 fever, but suffering is a lot. Oh, main bimar hu, I'm not well. Someone going through cancer, happy faces. Happy faces. Nobody would even know that they're not well. So who's suffering more? So who's suffering more? So the past karmic account of the cancer is bigger, but the present response is happiness. So the present suffering is not there. 100 fever, you can't even call it a past karmic account, but they're suffering so much. So power is always in the present.
And our response, so that's what's within our control.
Yes, completely.
Response,
Completely. So even if there's an ailment, even there is a relationship issue, even if there's a business crisis, it is a past karmic account. How are you going to think about it? But then when you practice daily meditation, daily spiritual principle, then you know how to think right. Otherwise, we're just reacting to situations. We are not responding. We've not been taught. We've not been taught this actually, that we have to respond to the situation out of our choice. We just react to what the world is giving to us. So if I'm not getting a good energy, I'll react with the same. So then I complicate my karmic account. So it's like first meeting, second meeting, third meeting. It gets more and more complicated. So now if you see, things are happening in the world where people are saying like, how can this happen? Never heard of this happening before. It's getting more and more complicated.
Sister, you know, there's a lot of science and there's a lot of information about suppressed emotions. You know, not daily stress. Like, it's wrong to say daily stress is going to cause a cancer, but suppressed, deeply rooted emotions. This information and science would come to me. My patients would ask me about this about 9 or 10 years ago. I was of belief there was a connection. Went into science because a lot of people don't believe it otherwise. Today, I'm 100% convinced. And why I'm so reassured about it, because there still is no science. There is a lot of science showing there are causes between it. Still more evidence is required. But the point is today, our patients come to us and they say, because I've spoken about this before in videos about, you know, be careful of deeply rooted emotions. They have to come out. Today, 99% of our breast cancer patients, ovarian, any reproductive, hormonally driven cancer, they come and say, Luke, I know exactly why I have my cancer. When it started, even before diagnosis, because it's always going on in the body before. Today, 99% of our patients come with that. And then we go back and it's a deeply rooted emotion. Not one like my husband fought with me. None of that. Deeply, deeply rooted. Unforgiveness, resentment, bitterness, guilt. And so I'm so reassured. I was waiting for that signal. I'm not waiting for science to come and tell us whether it's right or wrong, because either ways, it's part of your healing. You know, take your chemotherapy, take your radiation, change your food, exercise. But what are you doing with those suppressed emotions? Because we can see normal people today, when they're stressed out, they fall sick. They feel better about themselves when the stress is less. So it is a genuine problem that people struggle with, unforgiveness, which then becomes bitterness. So some people say, hey, Luke, I'm feeling bitter. So where does the bitterness come from? Unforgiveness. What are some of the techniques or the easy ways that you would suggest someone to start their journey? Because usually the first response is, but how could she do this? How could he do this? Why would they do this? And that becomes the obstacle to moving towards the right action. So how would you guide us with simple steps to anyone who's struggling with forgiveness today to start that journey? I know it's difficult. I don't want to take away from people's pain of what happened. Yeah. But what's that beginning journey?
But again, what happened? But now what am I doing to myself?
Yeah.
So what happened was not in my control at that time. Maybe how I responded at that time was also not very right. But now looking back, at least I can change my response now. So at that time, I created a thought which said, I can never forgive them. Yeah. That's a thought, that's an instruction that I've given into my subconscious. I can never forgive them for what they did. Leave alone forget. Forget is out of the question. How can I forget what has happened in my life? But I can never forgive. Sometimes people around us also say the same thing. How can you forgive that person? You should not forgive that person. This is the kind of advice that we will get. Because if you forgive that person, they will do the same thing again. So no, don't forgive that person. So it's a very deep programming that goes on inside. And so I have told my mind, I cannot forgive. I have told my mind, I should not forgive. And I have told my mind, I will not forgive. So that's an instruction that I have given. Simple. So what do I have to do? I have to change my instruction. First, why should I forgive? For myself.
Yeah.
I'm not doing a favor to the other person. It's for my mind, it's for my body, it's for my energy, it's for my now relationships, it's for now my life. I'm doing it for myself. People believe that when they're forgiving somebody else, they're doing it for them. It's not for them. What they have done to you is their karma. And their karma and their consequence is now with them, even if the whole world forgives them. Even if the whole world says, I forgive you, we forgive you, the consequence of the karma will always come. Will always come. So we are not really forgiving anybody else because they have created a karma and that consequence is with them. We are forgiving ourselves by saying, I forgive. Which means, I release the hurt and the hatred. It's nothing about the other person. It's completely about me. When I say I forgive, I'm saying I'm cleaning here. And when I say I forgive, it means I'm changing the energy which is going to flow from here to my body. Yeah. Who am I doing it for? Myself. I'm not doing this for them. I cannot forgive them actually. There's no concept of forgiving other people. Because if I say I forgive you, then I'm saying the consequence of your karma will not come to you. That's not in my hands. That's not in my hands. They've sown the seed, the fruit is going to come. Yeah. I cannot go and uproot that fruit. Our karma and our destiny walks with us, not other people's karma doesn't walk in my destiny. And my forgiveness cannot change their destiny. So we are not forgiving actually other people. We were not taught it the right way. Yeah. We thought we are forgiving them. And so we said, why should I forgive somebody who's done wrong? But you're not forgiving the other person. Their karma, their consequence. Your karma, your consequence. So when I say I cannot forgive, I'm holding pain here. So it's like a wound which I say I'm not going to heal. I'm saying I'm not going to heal my own wound. I say I'm not going to forgive, I'm not going to forget. I'm not going to let go this. So I'm holding on to a wound. Now once I hold on to a wound, it's not only going to hurt because of that situation. I'm living with a fresh wound. So if I look at it physically, it's wounded here. And I say I'm not going to heal. Yeah. So how did I hit myself? With this flower vase. So I don't forgive this flower vase. I hold on to the wound. But this same hand has to be used for so much other work. And I'm not healing this wound. So it's going to hurt every time. And I don't realize that it's hurting every time because of this wound. So anybody who's holding on to emotions like this will become emotionally unwell. Their emotional immunity system will go low. Things will hurt them more. Their reactions will increase because they're not in their complete fitness as far as their mind is concerned. It's not a mental health issue, so it's not a depression or an anxiety, but it is an emotional health issue. So we are not forgiving the other person. Be very clear. I'm forgiving myself. So like I gave that instruction to my mind, I cannot forgive. New set of affirmations. I forgive, I release, I let go. And most important, when you understand it spiritually, why did they do this to me? My past karmic account. My past karmic account. I, the soul, and this soul have met before. And if they are sending this energy to me, definitely there was a past to it. So what affirmations we create for forgiveness is, my past karmic account is over. It's over. I release, I forgive, I let go. Third step, I radiate blessings to that soul. I radiate blessings to that soul because I want to change that karmic account. Same like you spoke about your father. Same. I radiate blessings to that soul, which means I clean myself completely. Completely. That is why it's very important to understand soul, karma, and past karmic account, and future karmic account. Because if I don't forgive now, the wound is not only in this lifetime.
It's the next.
Because the wound is not on the body. The wound is on the soul. And so I don't know when I will leave, so I will leave with that pain. And then I will enter a new costume. The body is getting created, but I, the soul, am already carrying a wound. So what vibrations am I radiating to that new costume? Not the best energy. Then my new life starts. I already have a wound that I don't forgive easily. I don't trust people easily. I'm vulnerable. I feel rejected. So a lot of these emotions which we feel in our present life are a carry forward. So the parent loves the child, but the child will say, no, you like the sibling more than me. The parent has to keep on proving, no, it's not that. But it's not about the parent. It's not about the child. It's about that soul who carried that belief system saying, they don't love me. Somewhere that soul carried before. And now they've come and they say, they don't love me. Tomorrow they'll say with their partner, you don't love me. It becomes like a subconscious background music.
And how would you change that then?
Then change the affirmation. Everybody loves me. Everyone accepts me. I love everyone. I accept everyone. I have to change my background music. Otherwise it starts coming to me in every relationship. It will come to me at work. It will come to me at home. It will come to me with friends. Because it's not there. It's like my little finger. I hurt it here. And I go and touch everywhere. And I say, it's paining. I say, this is not hurt. I say, these are not right. Everything around me is wrong. Everybody is behaving wrongly. The wound is not there. It's here. So heal yourself. It's not for anybody else. Please, we have to tell ourselves, I'm not forgiving anybody. I'm not doing a favor to anyone. I forgive myself by releasing this. So we just write a few thoughts. Do them every single day, every morning, every evening before going to sleep. Subconscious mind programming will change. It was just an instruction. We can reach a stage where, just like what your father did, you don't just forgive, you actually create a clean energy. A clean energy. And you will feel so light, and then the body will feel better. So who did we do it for? Who did we do it for? And I have to ask myself, holding on to that resentment, whose body is getting affected? You know, here we say it's okay, I can live with this. Some people will say, I don't mind, I will live with this resentment. Okay, you can live, but the impact is going to reach the body. You want to go through something just because you're holding on to what somebody did? No. Every thought from here is a vibration which is reaching every cell of the body. Every thought. So when I've held on to something, even if it's not in my active memory right now, it's there. It's radiating energy. Why? So forgive, live light, and then when we have to leave, then we leave light. We have to travel light on this journey. Very important.